We got another mini project here. This is a scooter for a neighbor. It was parked in a barn and sat for 20 years since it was last ran. So we're gonna try to clean it up and do what we can. I think the first step is I'm gonna wash this. Get some of the jipe off of it. Pretty grody back there. The key just came in. Check this out. So key totally works. And I needed it for back here. I wasn't sure if this is gonna work on this or not, but it does. I want to get this seat up. Key's activating this steel here. Works in that lock there too. So it looks to me like this is a 2-stroke bike. It's probably oil injected. Gas smells bad and looks bad. I'll take this tank out of it and flush it all out. We got our battery here. I'm gonna write down the numbers and order one. I'm very confident that we're gonna be able to get this bike to work again. I know this whole side cover is loose, and it looks like it's broken down there. So we'll probably do a fiberglass repair on that. Try to get this bike so it isn't rattling apart. I'm gonna do a fiberglass repair on this blinker too. I want all the lights to work on it so it's safe. Not only does this bike have a electric start, but it's got a kick start. It's got compression, so things are looking good here. Take these side covers off, see what we got underneath here. We need to get the gas tank out, clean it, and clean the carburetor. Looks like we of course have a mouse nest in it. Here's a tab for that side cover. I'm gonna try to use fiberglass resin and matting and glue these covers back together. Both covers are broke right down here. This throttle's froze up. Could be the slide in the carb. Let's take this cover off, see what's underneath here. Air cleaner is just disintegrated. Alright, got rid of the hantavirus. And looks like maybe this screw holds this air cleaner housing on. Oh jeez. We had to lay on its side when we transported it back. I wonder if this is a vacuum actuated, like petcock type of deal. This here looks like the oil tank. And I wonder if it injects right in the cylinder. I'm gonna flushing this out. And I'm gonna see if I can pick this filter out of the tank. So I'm taking the carb off here. Here's that throttle cable that goes to the carb. This other one probably goes to the oil injection, I'm thinking. So I'm gonna unscrew this slide here. I'm just kind of ordering parts as I'm going along here too, because I want to get this done. Yeah, with the cap off, I can't get it out. She's frozen in there. So I'm gonna work at this a minute and get that freed up. I pop out and my throttle cable looks like it's good. Screwed this. It's probably one of those electric enrichener circuits. I don't see a choke anywhere up here. There she be. Pull off here and like complete varnish just pulled out of there. I mean that almost looks like motor oil, but it isn't. Quite a bit of deposits at the bottom there. That jet looks like it's completely plugged. So I'm gonna take this apart and clean it up, put it back together. I think I'll probably count the number of turns in these screws when I do it too. Put them back pretty close to where they were. With this jet, it would have never ran like that. Let there be light. So I'm doing a spark check here. Got spark. I'm just gonna give it a shot of starting fluid in the carb. Let's see what happens. sounds like it ran pretty good. Yeah, around the spark plug. And all up in this cover, I'm seeing like grass. So I'm wondering if there's a mouse nest under here. I think I'm gonna take this off and make sure there isn't, because we don't want that engine getting super hot. That was going on in there, and that would have been bad news. Get that all cleaned out. It's a great way to blow a head gasket. In here, you got some inner tubes for tires, tire spoons, and the battery. That's the fiberglass cloth. I'm getting a full charge in the battery. This one doesn't have any lead in it. Apparently it's a fiberglass matting in there. Sealed battery. And it looks like a perfect replacement. And this is pretty cheap off Amazon. The Pirate battery. It doesn't even say what voltage it is on it. Put the voltmeter to it. Looks like the taillight's working. Brake light's working. Let's see here. The bulbs are out of the front right now. Yeah, I think we're going to be able to get fully working lights on this. Is the headlight? Probably has to be running for the headlight to work. So brake does have to be on for starter to work. So electrically it's looking pretty good. I want to get these side panels mounted on there good and solid. So that's going back on. This little tabber is going back on. This piece in the back is going back on. And I'm going to try to fix this blinker. I looked online for a new blinker, didn't have much luck finding it. So I'm just going to glass this up, and that's what they got. Just using some polyester resin and some matting. All I'm going to do is kind of scratch up the surfaces and then put some matting and resin down, probably a few layers of this matting. One of the hinge pieces for the side cover was sewn there too. I think it goes like this. Now, I'm not going to bother painting this. We're just doing this as a favor for somebody, so if they want to paint it, they can. That mash, there's field stuff in there. I almost been driving this through the field. Took this one apart just to see how it goes, and that clip's all tweaked in there, so it's rotating like this. So I'll straighten that out. It'll help a little bit. Squeeze it back together and then some glass matting around it. Took that clip out, straightened it, put it back in. Now it's locked in. This is like stressed apart, so I'm going to use a needle nose and clamp it together. And I might have to do this in a couple stages because there's 2 cracks in it. Like that first. It goes a long way. They're saying 1 ounce to 10 drops. A little extra in there for good measure. These pieces are all drying. Just trying to get the stuff attached, and then I guess I'm laying some matting then. It's pretty difficult to get the angle of the dangle right there. So these tires are all dry rotted, both the front and the back. Gotta take them off, and you can actually look the owner's manual up online for this. So I had to take the muffler off to be able to get this off. So it looks like there's a cover I gotta take off, like a heat shield, and then a few bolts. The muffkin came right off, and looks like there's some sort of maybe compression gasket on it. Razor blade. I think I'll see if I can order a new one of these. I don't want the exhaust leaking on this and ultimately ruining the motor. I'll have to clean that mating surface up in there. Probably just get in there with a little sandpaper or something. See if I can get this back wheel off here. Boy, not much to it. Looks like there's plenty of material on the shoes yet. It looks like maybe the inner tube is ripped in there. Just working the tire off with these spoons. One-handed. Onto the front tire here. We got a wrench over here. Let's see what happens. I got them brakes backed off all the way. I'll put you down. Shoes look good. Bearing feels good. Don't see any problems there. You see this front tire is also dry rotted. So I just ordered a pair. We'll get them both done. Rubber came in. So I just cleaned them up, doing a quickie paint job to these rims. I'm gonna try this wheel paint, see how that turns out. I noticed this one looked a little strange. Everything ain't quite square on there. It's bent pretty good. So to order a new one of these. Every day I've been coming out here and putting a little bit of fiberglass on here. Oh, just broke that piece off. I didn't have any mesh on this piece yet. And these pieces are getting pretty strong. I gotta knock down the excess with this grinding burr. I think I'll put another strip on here. Reglue that back on there, back to step one there. But they're getting there. They gotta put mesh on this side. I have it on this side. This is a real iffy piece. I don't know how long this is gonna hold up. These are light. It's almost done. I'm just gonna put one last piece of mesh all the way across the face of it here to tie it all together. But otherwise it's holding shape now. So I just knocked the excess off of this, and this piece is good and rigid now. I got glass on both sides of that. Glass on both sides of this. Could have sanded that down a lot better, but I just went ahead and shot it up in paint. And our instructions were to actually just rip those off if we felt like it, but I'd kind of rather if they were working for. Here's our wheel paint. That is some metallic stuff. It's going to be bling.
So this thing was obviously in an accident, and they just, when this thing hit, it just straightened everything out. So I'm going to punch this metal in, punch that metal down, so these make contact again. It hits there. So that's as sharp as you can turn it. Anything, you know, this is like... You know, everything has to be lightweight because it's only 50 cc's. And then it's hauling a 200-pound person. Now you got your steering stops.
Yeah.
Well, when this thing was an accident, something broke away and it's bouncing around. There's really nothing to attach it to. So I'm scratching this up and we're gonna jam epoxy in there just so it's not rattling.
Trim is in here. Look at the difference. So I'm gonna wire wheel it, primer it, paint it, and get it in the clear coat like that rim. Just rustled that tire on there with these here tire spoons. I didn't bother videoing it. There's better videos out there than what I can make on that. Basically, you just get the first bead in, then I stuff the tube in, put a little bit of air in that tube, you know, put some soap on the beads, and then got the second bead over. Meanwhile, our new rim is drying here. Got a clear coat it yet. Front rim painted up, and I use the exact same paints, and they're looking different. Like this one doesn't have a metallic flake. It's not really shiny. I scratched her up some getting that tire on there. I think I'm just going to put another base coat right over this clear coat, and that's how it's going to go out the door. These tires are small enough, I'm not going to worry about balancing them. And I think this machine's only going like 20 miles an hour anyway. That's going to have to be it. Check out that meat. These are directional tires. Got them on the right way. This muffler back on now. I did find an OEM gasket just like that original. Probably tough to tell, but you can see that original was crushed to a degree. Front tire's back on. I got a little bit of Loctite on that front axle nut. I had to clearance the heck out of this blinker housing with a grinding burr to get the fit. But, you know, I guess they look kind of the same. At least it's not hanging down now. I'm gonna pop a plug in it right now before I reinstall this gas tank. Just so she has a fresh plug to ride around in. I suspect the diaphragm is bad in this petcock. Plus this filter is just nasty. So I ordered a new one, 10 bucks, supposed to fit it. And of course, it's the wrong size. Vacuum on it, it's stuck in here and it's actually working. So I think I'm just gonna try to use this filter the original petcock. She's holding fuel. We're gonna roll her outside, see if she runs on her own power for the first time in like 20 years. A way you can check this oil injection to make sure that the alignment marks line up, but it's buried in there, of course. I can see that it's taken oil down, so I'm not going to worry about that. I was going to check this final drive reduction oil too. It's supposed to be filled up to the threads here, and I think it's at 1040, so I'm just going to dump some lube in there and call it good. There is a belt in here. I'm not going to worry about that. Like I said, this is a freebie, and it's running pretty good, needs to go out the door. The air cleaner element, and of course it's the wrong one. Here's a genuine Honda part though. But it's big enough I can trim it and just make it work. So that's what I'm gonna do. You can see this is the inlet here, and this is to the carb. I've determined that this is the throttle stop screw, and this is an air bleed screw, according to the manual anyway. And I got this just all the way in. Let's see how far here. Yeah, it's out like a quarter turn. It was running the best like that with no air cleaner. But now we're gonna put this air cleaner on it, so we're gonna have to retune it. I got you guys right here. Let's take a look at this ones too. I'm gonna try to get the maximum amount of power out of this thing. So this needle is on a clip. I'm going to put you down for a second, and we're going to see what position that clip is in. According to the manual, it only had 3 positions, but this needle has 5 positions. So we're going to monkey around with this and see where it runs the best. I sprayed some of this greaser in there, and then blew it off with compressed air. She came pretty clean. So I'm going to use this metal piece here as a template. It looked to me like the original foam element was on the bottom side of this. I'll leave the black and then maybe a little bit. I'm gonna go just a touch small with the hole punch. Try to keep a good seal. That sure does a nice job. That's all she's gonna get. I'm supposed to soak this in some motor oil, so I'm gonna do so. I'm just gonna spray a bunch of this on there and then wring it out, and that's what I got. She just soaked up that K&N oil. Yeah, it's gonna wring out. Here she is, nice clean air cleaner. 30, eh? Yeah. What are you thinking? Lean it out or rich it up? I think I'm gonna lean it out. Is this, you can get right at that air screw and the idle screw through this hole, and this screws right off. So it should be pretty easy to adjust this needle. All right, boys, I got her leaned out. Oh, he's pulling her in the pits. What's the situation?
I would say it's slower.
All right.
I could only get 25 at the same distance.
Let's fatten her up, eh?
30 the last time.
What's the prognosis?
I'd say about 28.
So
idle's like shit now too, you know?
Yeah, put it back in the middle.
Probably.
We got all the side covers back on her. This is the finished package, how it's going out the door. We had to use a little good old-fashioned duct tape over here. But the Aero 50's got the Aero package on it now.